Hey, this is Linda Cohn from ESPN, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
The ML Sports Platter is back with you all over the major platforms. Download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. We are brought to you by Liverpool Physical Therapy, Brewerton Ace Hardware, the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group, and our great friends at Rosie's Corner. If you're in and around Central New York, stop on over to Rosie's, especially today for their Fish Friday. You can get the lunch option with a sandwich or the dinner entree. Coleslaw, French fries, mac and cheese make great sides to go along with your Fish Friday, and the pizza wing combos for all the games as well, from your sheet pizzas to small pizzas, everything in between. Garlic parm wings are to die for. Gold Fever, you get the hot or the mild, or hey, maybe you're in the mood for fried shrimp, a burger, stuffed shells, all of that on the menu as well at Rosie's Corner, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Let's get to week 7 in the NFL. My goodness, where does the time go? Your bye week teams: Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, Jaguars. And man, 6 teams are off. That's a lot of teams. Let's start with, as you hear this, Broncos and Browns will be done. It all depends on Baker Mayfield's injury. Obviously, he was saying he's full go. It looks as though he's out on a couple of... Hang on a minute. Why are there so many... Yes, he is out for sure. At first, it was a full go, but I wanted to check on this because he has a torn labrum. There's no way, the left shoulder is so swollen. It just, come on. Case Keenum will start over Baker Mayfield. Mary Kay Cabot, I always have to go to her with Cleveland.com, the number one Browns insider out there. There were a couple of reports, actually, that said, though, that Baker was, he was going to go. He was a full go. He was trying to tell him, convince doctors, but that's not the case. Anyway, that game will have been done by the time you listen to this. Let's go with the Sunday games and the Monday night game. Washington at the Green Bay Packers. I see nothing from the Washington football team that gives me a feeling that they can go into Green Bay and compete. Their defensive line has been pushed off the ball so bad since the Bills game. I don't know if people have been using that game as a barometer, using film, etc. But man, they're awful. Their linebackers are hideous, and their secondary is bad to begin with. I think Green Bay rolls in this game. Rodgers, Jones, and Adams, the killer trio. Let's rock the Packers in this game, 38-13. The Green Bay Packers are favored by 8.5. I would bet that until the cows come home. Chiefs at the Titans. Huge game in the AFC here. Kansas City wins. They're up back over 500. Tennessee loses. They're 4-3. And, of course, you've got a tie-break situation going on here as well. If the Kansas City Chiefs win this, they'll be ahead of the Titans, with the tie-break. Titans, it took them everything to beat the Bills last week. I think the Chiefs go in and actually perform extremely well, and I think they dominate the Tennessee Titans. I don't like their defense against Derrick Henry and company, but I don't really like a lot on Tennessee's side either up against Kansas City. I think this is going to be a freaking shootout. 45-38. Give me the Chiefs over the Titans. They are favored by 6.5 is Kansas City. Falcons at the Dolphins. Good God. What a horrible football game this is. Godspeed to anybody having to watch or cover this game. Falcons are favored by 2.5. Miami lost to the Jaguars in London, so they're coming off of that. I just don't know what to do here. I really don't. If I were a betting man, I would never touch this game because this is the ultimate coin flip game between a team in Miami that's been one of the most disappointing in all of football, and then Atlanta, a team that's just really, really bad situationally. I mean, horrendous. And, I don't trust them on the road. I don't trust their defense. I don't like anything about them. I really don't. Playmaker-wise, sure, Ridley, Ryan, Pitts, but they're 2-3. I mean, it shows you how bad the rest of the roster is. I will take Atlanta in this game, 23-20. I think it'll be a slop fest, ugly, two teams I don't like, and let's move on. Jets at the Patriots. Give me New England. They're favored by 7 in this game. And it just basically comes down to, I think Mac Jones is better than Zach Wilson. That's just the bottom line. And oh, by the way, Damian Harris is putting together a pretty nice season for the New England Patriots. 6 games in, 331. He may push for 1,000 yards this season. I'll take New England 26-20. Panthers at the Giants. This is a must-win for Carolina. Giants season's basically over. They're all banged up. Offense just doesn't have people. Carolina has swooned the last couple of weeks. They are not looking good. They're getting bodied off the ball. They're making terrible mistakes. Sam Darnold's come down to earth a little bit. This is a 3-3 football team right now. You cannot go into East Rutherford and lose to the New York Football Giants, one of the worst teams in all the NFL. You've got to win this. You've got to get back into the win column. You've got to get some confidence back. I think Carolina wins this game, but they're not playing well. Again, without Christian McCaffrey, it hurts the offense so much because, with him, he can catch it out of the backfield, he can run it, and then that keeps defenses honest. The play-action game comes into the fold. This is a Darnold, DJ Moore game, I think, because the Giants are so bad in the secondary. Give me Carolina 27-17. Bengals at the Ravens, arguably the game of the week. Star power across the board. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. You've got terrific players in Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase. Incredible stuff. Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews have been playing well as well for the Baltimore Ravens. But this comes down to the defense. I mean, this is the defense of the Ravens. How much success can they have against Joe Burrow and company? Will they use the same game plan that they did, wreaking havoc on Justin Herbert a week prior? I mean, they bombed the Chargers 34-6. The new shiny toy, the new shiny team, Herbert and the Chargers, and they went into Baltimore, and they got absolutely slapped around. I think this game's close, but I'm going to go with the home team. I think the quarterback play is a wash, but I think the Ravens somehow make the big play. I think they get a key turnover. Maybe it's on special teams, whatever the case may be. A pick six. I don't know what it'll be, but I'm going to go with the Ravens D in this game, making plays. A team that doesn't have a ton of superstar players on defense, but man, are they grinding and playing well as a unit right now. 21. Now we'll go a little higher than that. 31-21. Ravens get it done against the Bengals. Raiders home for the Eagles. This should be a surefire win for the Raiders. 4-2. They got to keep their playoff positioning up there with the strong AFC. The Eagles. I'm not confident in the Eagles being able to stop the Raiders. They have shown some guts this year. Sirianni has been a bolt of energy. But I think the Raiders right now are playing, no John Gruden. I think they're playing with kind of a chip now, won at Denver last week. They host the Eagles. The crowd's going to be crazy. I don't see anybody in the secondary for Philadelphia stopping Henry Ruggs. He's also on my fantasy team, so let's go. Give me the Raiders in this game, 34-20. Lions at the Rams. Interesting. Jared Goff was kind of, do I say thrown under the bus by Dan Campbell? He was mentioned just, hey, we need more help around the quarterback, this and that and the other thing. Two ways to take that. One, yeah, you do because you're the Lions and you suck, and you've always needed that. Or two, Jared Goff, you're not making people better, right? I mean, maybe you just leave that comment, again, I'm paraphrasing, but maybe you leave that comment out. But Jared Goff has basically learned what Matt Stafford had to deal with all those years. Matt Stafford now is 5-1. Matt Stafford has Darrell Henderson. He has Cooper Kupp. He has Robert Woods. He has a defense led by Aaron Donald. He has a whiz kid head coach in Sean McVay. Jared Goff never had any of that in LA, and away we go here with that. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. I think the Rams win this game. 15, man, is a big line normally, but man, I would bet that actually. I'll take the Rams in this game. Give me the Rams 40-10, big time at SoFi in Inglewood, California, over the Detroit Lions. ML Sports Platter here with you. Before I preview the rest of the games, we've got 4 games to finish up with. Here is a message from Burn Dairy.
Before sunrise, Burn Dairy and Deli is preparing to fuel your day with hot coffee, donuts, muffins, breakfast sandwiches, and other morning staples. For lunch, grab a giant deli sandwich made the way you like it. Pizza, wings, wraps, or a fresh salad. Plus, something to wash it down. Then pick up dinner or a sweet treat and other pantry essentials. Now you can get your Burn Dairy and Deli favorites delivered with DoorDash. All day, every day, you can count on Burn Dairy and Deli. It's all good.
All right, and we can rock and roll with these last 4 picks for my NFL Week 7 preview, all brought to you by Brian Comboy of Mass Mutual, New York State, and Welch & Company Jewelers, as well as Sit Mean Sit Syracuse and the Syracuse Fitness Store. Texans are at the Cardinals. I mean, is there a more lopsided game this week or anywhere in the season? I mean, maybe Lions-Rams is up there, maybe a couple other teams the Texans have played this season. Maybe when they went into Buffalo, I don't know, man. Arizona right now is killing it. They're 6-0, and they're favored by 17.5. That's a huge line as well, but I would bet that if I were a betting man as well. Now, if you all run out and make these bets and then don't get them, I'm going to get shit on social media. But where does Houston stop the Cardinals? You know, where do they stop Edmonds and Murray and Hopkins and A.J. Graham? How do you stop that? And then the Texans, just with that expansion roster and horrible offense, I feel bad for Davis Mills. I really do. Going up against Budda Baker and all those studs and J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones, all those guys, all those players who create havoc, all those players who can create turnovers. This game, I think, is going to be a complete and utter disaster for Houston. Give me the Cardinals in this game, 48-7. Bears at the Buccaneers. This is a true test for Chicago. Obviously, they're going in with the inferior team. I would feel a lot better if they had David Montgomery because they could do a little bit more in terms of controlling the clock. But I don't know how they're going to be able to keep up with the firepower of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Even when Tampa loses, a couple guys here, a couple guys there, it does not matter. I mean, they've had, Antonio Brown's playing out of his mind, Fournette, both those guys were great last week. Brady right now, I think, is arguably the MVP of the NFL. I think you can argue for Kyler Murray. I think you can argue a little bit for Lamar Jackson. I think you could probably argue a wee bit for, just by default, Allen and Mahomes. I think Trayvon Diggs deserves a lot of votes, and I got to tell you who else I think deserves a ton of votes, who probably I would, because it's such a passing league and it's offense through the air, 75-25, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is completely and utterly going up against what football really is in 2021, and he's going to probably get, if he stays healthy, another 2,000-yard season. So, you've got all those things into play as far as MVP talk. Obviously, we have a long, long way to go, but I think Tom Brady's right into the conversation. Look at the numbers of Tom Brady, 183, and granted, I understand that it's never been easier to play quarterback. You can't hit anybody. His offensive line is great, blah, blah, blah. I know all those things, but both can apply that all those things take place, plus Brady is playing still at 44 years of age at an elite level. 2,064 yards on 17 touchdowns as well with a QBR of 66.4. I mean, what more can you say about the guy? Bruce Arians, what a great spot he had on with Colin Cowherd, where he was talking about, the difference in previous quarterbacks at Tampa, how it would take them a few days to get something from, watching film and then executing it on the practice field. Tom Brady, it took they just went right out and looked and bang, hey, remember this? And he just did the play because he remembered. It's just a different ballgame in Tampa Bay right now. They're the defending champions. They have a swagger to them. They know they're going to win. And I think they keep winning here against the Bears. The Bears need big defensive plays, big, and they cannot make tons of mistakes. Bucks are favored by 12.5. I'm going to go a little less than that number, actually. I'll pick the Buccaneers 26-17. The Colts are at the 49ers. And this is basically, for me, this is the last kind of go-around for the Colts. If they lose this football game, I think the Indianapolis Colts are done. I mean, that's just what it boils down to. Carson Wentz has actually been playing some solid football so far in 2021. Remember, he was on like the 6 to 12 week plan, and then all of a sudden you woke up the next day and he was in there. So it's it's insane. I still don't understand that process. The Colts. There's a couple things going on with the Colts. One thing is they just lack a big playmaker, don't they? I mean, Michael Pittman Jr. is nice. Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. But they don't have, they need, the T.Y. Hilton in his prime type wide receiver, right? The go-to guy, the number one guy. 3rd and 6, he's going to get separation and get it. Like Stephon Diggs, like Devontae Adams, like DeAndre Hopkins, like the way Antonio Brown is playing right now, the way CeeDee Lamb is playing in Dallas. That kind of a go-to, A.J. Brown in Tennessee. You need that go-to, hey, I need 5 yards. I'm calling your number no matter what, right? Like, you need that guy in the NFL. Many times that guy also happens to be, your number one wide receiver. So I think that this Colts team, they got to play physical with the 49ers if they're going to stick with them. We have seen the hit and miss physicality this year from the Colts. When they haven't played physical, they've gotten trounced. When they played physical, they've won. Darius Leonard is obviously a monster. Okereke at linebacker has been playing great as well. I mean, Leonard has 45 tackles and Okereke has 51. Those two guys are leading the way. Kenny Moore, they have some players on defense. They got Xavier Rhodes. He's only played 4 games this year. But, if you go across the roster here quite a bit, and I obviously root for Zaire Franklin on the Colts, the linebacker who was a stud at Syracuse and is really one of the good guys to come through the program. But they got to play physical, good, tough football on the road, control the clock, and then work the play action with Carson Wentz. Don't turn the ball over. But I think it'll be a little difficult of a task for the Colts. Give me the 49ers in this game. Close, though. I think it'll be close. The Niners are favored by 4. I think they win by 2, 23-21. The 49ers are 2-3, by the way. They have yet to win at home. The Colts are 1-2 on the road and 2-4 overall. Saints at the Seahawks to wrap things up for Week 7 and the picks. The Saints going in, again, hostile environment, but no Russell Wilson. So what happens? Do the Saints beat the Seahawks because of no Russell Wilson? Or do the Seahawks, with the crowd and all the rest, force Jameis Winston into a few mistakes, hang around, get a break late, and win? Right? That's the big thing. If the Seahawks can play like they did against the Steelers last week and keep it close, I think the Seahawks could actually win in this game. And I'm calling a mini upset right now. I'm going to pick Seattle in this game, 24-21. I think the Seahawks get it done. So there's 6 teams on a bye week, and I should mention that the Saints are 3-2 and the Seahawks are 2-4. The Seahawks have yet to win at home, which is very, very rare. Even just a couple of games in, you never see even 0-2. You at least see 1-1, but usually it's 2-0 because of the 12th man. And that stadium looks absolutely spectacular. The Saints are favored by 5, so we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to take the Seahawks in an upset special. 6 teams have bye weeks: Bills, Cowboys, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, and the Jaguars. Just kind of quickly off of, I just wanted to kind of quickly talk really quick about each of these teams. Just a quick hit on each as far as where they're going from here. The Bills, they lost that heartbreaker to Tennessee on Monday Night Football. I agreed with the call. I loved the call. 4th and inches. Allen just pretty much slipped. And I know Deion Dawkins got blown up, but I think if Allen doesn't slip, I still think even with the defender kind of, pushing Dawkins off the block, off the leverage, I think Allen's able to kind of take his momentum with a 6'5", 240-pound frame. I think he's able to get that, and I think the Bills get the touchdown to win the game. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way for the Bills, but you know what? Sean McDermott has stones. Great job, great call, great guts, and the Bills have, Dolphins, Jaguars, Jets coming out of the gate. They got the Colts at home. They've got some games before the Thanksgiving jobber against New Orleans. Bills, I think, will reel off, 4 or 5 straight wins coming out of the gate, starting with those inferior opponents. Dallas is playing well. They're one of the best teams in the entire NFL, a team that right now is arguably the best offense. I mean, they've got Lamb and Cooper and Prescott and the two-headed monster rolling at running back in terms of Pollard and Elliott. And, they won that OT game against the New England Patriots in Week 6. This is a week off that I don't think the Cowboys want. I think they'd rather just get right back out there, keep playing well, and keep winning. But you got to take your bye where it is. They also have a very favorable schedule coming up when they get out of the bye. Minnesota on the road, Denver at home, Atlanta at home. Then it's at KC, the Raiders at home, at New Orleans. Gets a little bit tougher. But then they got Washington, the Giants, Washington, Arizona, and then at Philly. So Dallas right now, schedule-wise and the way they're playing at 5-1, this should be, if you look at the games like that, this should be a 12-win football team. It really should be. The Vikings, they've been playing solid football this year because of Kirk Cousins. Are they a playoff team? It's all going to come down to him. That's the bottom line. Dalvin Cook, we know the superstar that he is, the superstar Justin Jefferson is, Adam Thielen. Every other couple of weeks he comes out and he shows, hey, I'm a number one wide receiver today. If Cousins continues to hit the mark, they'll be in the conversation. The Steelers barely beat Seattle last week. They get a bye week. I think this does come at a good time for them because I just think they got to find some identity there. The Chargers got rolled by the Baltimore Ravens, and while they, like the Bills, would love to be able to say, hey, we want to get right back out there and win, I think this is a great, great bye week for the Chargers. They got to hit the reset button. They got to really break down that film and see what went wrong against the Ravens. And the Jaguars, it really doesn't matter. They're 1-5. They just beat the Dolphins in London. It was a nice win. They get their bye week. I don't really think they have an unhealthy roster, but me being a diehard Bills fan, I don't love the bye week in Week 7. I wish that it was a little bit later, maybe like a Week 9, Week 10, smack dab in the middle. But again, you can't pick it, and all these teams will have their bye weeks, and we'll see how they come out. Mike Lindsley with you. It's the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by our good friends at the Al and Angus Pub, Brewerton Ace Hardware, Rosie's Corner, and Sit Means Sit Syracuse. Any dog, any breed, any behavior, bring your pup to Sit Means Sit Syracuse in Cicero. It's a terrific place to be. Dave and his staff are crushing it. Sit Means Sit Syracuse, the best dog training in and around central New York. And of course, you can visit them online at sitmeansit.com. That's sitmeansit.com. Free consultations are always available. Sit Means Sit Syracuse, a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. And a tip of the cap thank you as well for their support from the Swan and Whitaker families, and of course, a big-time title sponsor of the program, Stanley Law Offices. Together, they'll work to get you the maximum award. Online at stanleylawoffices.com, and check them out all over the social media platforms, and of course, their partner, Music for the Mission, raising money for the hungry and homeless in Central New York. $1 is one meal. So go ahead and donate to Music for the Mission as well. Thanks for listening to my Week 7 NFL preview. I'm Mike Lindsley, at Mike L Sports on Twitter. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.